all a very warm welcome to the panel discussion event under NERC 2022, Indo-Japan Cooperation in Education and Research. I also feel delighted to welcome our panelists to this event. Professor M.K. Bukit to welcome them.
So today, your NCFC 2022, some panelists will be here along with others delegates of this your conference. So as you know that our Indian Institute of Technology Guwahati is associated deeply with Japan. We have around 22 numbers of MOU with Japan, 22 number of university, and recently we have made an MOU with NTT Japan.
Next, I would like to invite Mr. Abhishek Chaudhary, VP of Indo-Japan Business Council, to the dais. Sorry. Next, we have Mr. Rajiv Gupta, founder of Chesix Venture LPP, Youth for Japan. We have Mr. Mandar Vaidya, Associate Consultant. Sir, can you please come to the dais? Okay. Next, we have among us Professor R.V.S. Upulari, ex-GMT Program Coordinator, Department of Chemical Engineering from IIT Guwahati. Lastly, I would like to invite Professor M. Guru Prem Prasad to the dais. And we also have Mr. Koji Sato, JFNT, who is joining us virtually. And then we have Mr. Manoj Nair from Fujitsu, who will be joining us virtually also. Thank you very much for joining us. And then now I would like our moderator, Professor V.V. God from Department of Chemical Engineering, to take over the session.
Small brief about FST program. Similarly, we are also hosting a joint degree program in the field of mechanical engineering. And apart from that, we also have a joint PhD degree program with the Gifu University. So, as this, I think this is an introduction which is sufficient enough to show the activity at from the Guwahati side, IIT Guwahati side. We are actively involved in the Japanese collaboration, and as well as the research collaboration, as well as the research scholar collaboration. In the sense is like, not only we are doing the collaboration, but there is an exchange of research scholar as well as the master student. It's not only the collaboration which is happening just by staying in the campus. No, both the sides student exchange is also happening for the PhD as well as the master's program. So which shows our interest in this joint degree program as well as our collaboration with the Japanese universities. And we are also open to other universities in the Japan for the active collaboration. So, if you see the topic of today's panel discussion, it is about the Indo-Japan cooperation in education and the research. We have very esteemed dignitaries with us to discuss about this particular topic. So, before I go on the further discussion, so for example, if you try to see the collaboration, as I mentioned here, that we are having collaboration in the field of only food science and mechanical engineering. But what about the other branches in the field of engineering as well as in the field of science? For example, if you see here the food science and technology engineering the collaboration which is actively involved here, it is involved 4 different disciplines, not only the chemical engineering. Apart from that, we have the bioscience, bioengineering also involved in this particular program with us. Center for Rural Technology, now it has been converted to School of Agri and Rural Technology. And also we have the collaboration partner in this particular program from the Department of Chemistry. So all these are the partnering department with us in this food science and technology program with the Gifu University. So with this small brief about our collaboration with the Japanese universities, I would like to just take a few questions to our dignitaries in the field. Like say for example, if we have to facilitating the student exchange between the 2 universities as well as for example the 2 countries in the top-notch Japanese institutions. So how we should look forward for this facilitating the student exchange in this particular program as well as in the different exchange program. If there are any opportunities available from the Japanese side where we can see that the Japanese government is extending some help towards exchange of this kind of students, because as IIT Guwahati, as we already discussed, we are open to all kind of invitations. So if such kind of opportunities are available, so we'll be happy to exchange the student exchange. We will have the student exchange as well as the faculty exchange if it is possible. So how we can look forward for such opportunities?
My name is Ryu Nishi. I am from Embassy of Japan. I'm a first secretary and in charge of the science and technology. I think it's a very good idea. Exchange student is very important, and I think the number of Indian students who come to study in Japan is very lower than any other countries. I'm a little sad to see this number. So I want to increase the number of exchange students, and but now we are thinking how to do it. So now, yeah, we are considering how to increase the number of exchange students. And I have engaged in various SPI and education fields such as quantum technology, global education, aerospace technology, and university education, and hosting young researchers. The mission of MEXT is to create and invest in our future, and I take pride in my work. When I was university student, about 20 years old, like everyone, I visited India alone and volunteered at an orphanage. These pictures at that time. Then I was poor, spoke less English, and knew nothing about India. However, the Indian people who I met were so kind and so helpful for me. And Indian culture and food were so attractive. I was so impressed. Since then, I love India. And now, I really hope to promote cooperation between India and Japan through my work. So now, at the first topic, I would like to talk about how interesting Japan is. Please look at these pictures. Japan suffered huge damage as a result of World War II. However, in the following 50 years, we rebuilt ourselves strongly, rebuilding the cities and creating a variety of industries. Now, as you know, there are a lot of global companies such as Toyota, Maruti Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha, and so on in Japan. Of course, we can see the cars and motorbikes of these companies everywhere in India. Also, Japanese anime and manga are so famous around the world. Many foreigners come to Japan for anime and manga. However, I teach my kids not to read manga books so much because they like manga too much and don't study. Here, I will explain some facts about Japan. The gross national income is the third in the world. There are 25 world cultural and heritage sites in Japan. So attractive. Average life expectancy is the first, over 80 years old. And there are 29 Nobel laureates. And the distance from Delhi to Tokyo is 5,850 kilometers, which is closer than New York and London. And next, let's see the facts about the Japanese higher education. There are various 995 universities, 323 junior college, and 57 college of technology, and 2,919 specialized training colleges. If you want to study in Japan, you surely could find your favorite college. And now, about 300,000 international students are studying in Japan. Japan has produced many Nobel laureates. Please look at the left table. Japan has produced 15 Nobel laureates in natural science, and this is the second in the world. As we will see here, Japan continues to focus on basic research and produce world-leading results. Japan also has a number of advanced research facilities that attract many researchers. For example, the supercomputer Fugak is one of the most powerful in the world. The H2L rocket boasts the world's highest launch success rate and supports Japan's space program. Do you know iPS cells created by the Nobel laureate Professor Yamanaka, this one, are bringing innovation to the regenerative medicine area around the world. Blue LED, also created by the Japanese Nobel laureates, are brightly illuminating over the world. What do you think? Are you tempted to visit Japan? There are one more thing I would like to make sure everyone knows about this. Japan has been extending official development assistance, ODA, to India since 1958. India is the largest recipient of Japanese ODA. Look at the left graph. Of Japan's ODA, 26% goes to India. On the other hand, Japan is the largest bilateral donor in India. 41% of the ODA that India receives is from Japan. These ODA projects are spread across sectors like transport, power, irrigation, environment, and investment promotion. And 90th March in this year, Prime Minister Kishida of Japan visited India and met with Prime Minister Modi. This was the first bilateral visit that our Prime Minister made since assuming his office. This fact alone shows how much importance Japan attaches to India. In the summit joint statement, progress of bilateral cooperation in the field of science and technology is welcomed, and the importance of people-to-people exchange is noted. And with the support of the JSPS, researchers who have researched in Japan have established the Indian JSPS Alumni Association. They maintain and further develop this network of outstanding researchers. They organize some symposium or seminar and disseminated the various information.
Before entering into the demonstration, let me briefly introduce myself and the Japan Foundation. Japan Foundation is a semi-governmental organization under the guidance of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And we have an overseas office in Delhi since 1994. Yeah. So when exchange greeting in Japan, which gestures? Okay, this one or this one? This one? There's a quiz. This is India, right? So yeah, this is Japanese way. So let me finish it. But other than this comprehensive self-study course, there are some other supplemental courses.
Now I would like to request Mr. Manoj Nair to share his views about this student exchange program between these two countries, and if you can throw some light on the student exchange program where the student would get benefited. I hope it would be very encouraging to the student as well. So Mr. Manoj Nair, are you available online?
So, and this topic, is very close to us because in India there are three entities under which we operate.
So now I request Professor Upaluri. Professor Upaluri is the originator of this particular program, which I would say the joint master's degree program. Actually, he has started with a lot of efforts, and the another professor who is present here, Mr. M.G. Guru Prem Prasad, he was the dean that time, Dean Academic Affairs. So these both, they have worked very hard to develop this JMT program between the IIT Guwahati and the Gippo University. And I would say we are very happy enough today to have both of us, the professor here with us in this particular program.
Nowhere in India you will find a bilateral program like this. So what I mean bilateral here is a joint program. Okay. Let me give you some, when we started this, let me give you the ideas, the models that we had. So we started this venture maybe 5 years back. Professor Elihara used to come regularly to IIT Guwahati, and there was a lot of exchange of, Professor Lingaraj Sahu and many faculty members from biosciences, Professor Vimal Katiyar. They had very good exchange, student exchange. So it started off from there. So definitely, if we want to have more joint degrees or more, cooperative curriculums, the students are the engines through which we can function. We can take this flight off. Because the student experience is what that gives us, the credibility and the credentials that are required. So when we ventured into this model, there were 2-3 big constraints. What is it? Number one, the joint degree has a constraint that an Indian student should minimum get 15 Japanese credits, and a Japanese student should get minimum 10 Indian credits, minimum. This is international credits. So of course I will not go much into those issues. So this was a serious issue that we had to consider. So very first time when Professor Elihara brought a big team and we had a big lunch with all the big dignitaries at the guest house, I was really puzzled myself. How can we take it ahead? But gradually with patience, with a lot of working, probably myself and Professor Prasad, Professor Raki, we worked more than 300 hours I think together in the entire planning of the curriculum. We used to sit morning 9 o'clock and we used to end up evening 8 o'clock. Professor Prasad used to write on whiteboard and I used to write minutes, and my minutes are getting revised every 3 hours. So this was the rate at which we had to take this curriculum, because the curriculum is a joint degree. See, we have a curriculum called DAD in Germany, very famous in IIT Madras, where we have, people do the coursework here and go to Germany to do their research. No, in our joint degree we are not doing it. In our joint degree, 1 semester coursework has to be done in India and 1 semester coursework has to be done in Japan, irrespective of your origin. That means Japanese students must visit IITG and Indian students must visit Japan and get accustomed to the education system there. Why? This is very important according to our understanding, because see, the education in India is a little different. The education pedagogy, philosophy is a little different from the education pedagogy in Japan. We Indians are very good in self-learning, but some of us not good in group learning. So Gifu works the other way around. Group learning is very, very important, because the exchange of ideas, the clarification of objectives requires a lot of group discussions and deliberations. Actually, if you learn, there is something called a learning pyramid. Probably all of you are aware about it. The philosophy of learning pyramid. In the learning pyramid, the group activity comes number 4th. So you can imagine now, this group effort. You can see yourself. See, entire class you attend, you note down, but then before the exams you form small groups and you discuss. And that's where you get all the good, transmission of knowledge. So this group activity is very important. That is one thing. And then, we had the research. So I had many students from Japan already in the 2 batches. I have graduated 1 student already from Japan. Language is an issue. But you know how fluently I am speaking now, but I don't deliver like this in the classes. So some jointly designed programs are there, like internship program is there, global internship, and also the practical exercises in food science and technology. So these are jointly designed programs. So we ensured that this program has equal participation of both the professors from both sides.
And how to map the credits, grades, etc. That was the biggest challenge, because of their semester, their academic calendar is different, our academic calendar is different. All those things are the major issues. That of course over a period of 2.5 years we have sorted out the things, and finally we got the joint degree, MTech degree in the food science and technology, similarly joint PhD. So as I already said, the MTech program is the very 4-semester program. There the system was very difficult to synchronize, whereas the PhD is a very flexible program because you are going for research. Okay, so mainly, especially for IITG students, I would like to say that not only that especially this institutional partnership between the IIT Guwahati and GP University, this joint degree program, if you are the PhD program, it's basically lateral entry. So once you are admitted into our program, you can convert within 1 year, you can join to that things. Of course, the number of seats is very less nowadays. I think hopefully we will increase, the demand is more. As of now, it's a 2 for the FST and 2 for mechanical engineering. So that is one way getting into the joint degree program. But still, there are plenty of opportunity for our IITG students. You can always visit, choose a lab at which in the Japanese universities, or you can choose a mentor at there, and you can visit for maximum 1 year to there. Okay. So if you are, or other now the recent facilities, you have joint supervisions with the foreign universities faculty members also. Okay. So at any point, it's not only if you have missed in the first year to get into the joint degree. No, don't worry. You can have a short-term visit. You can think of your areas, the labs, any Japanese, because they have very good industrial connection that we lack. So their research problems are more oriented towards the industrial things and more on experience, the lab experiments. So that is where we are lacking. That's why we went into this venture.
Before I end this session, I would like to just summarize the discussion in today's panel discussion. And before that, I would like to float one small questions to the dignitaries which are offline as well as online about the career opportunities, because whenever the student approach to any faculty or the supervisor in the institute, so the student apart from the degree, they also would like to look forward the career opportunities in the Japan. Because one of the student who wrote to me, sir, actually if I get admitted in the FST, Food Science and Technology, and what are the career opportunities? So from my side, let me just express my views about the career opportunities in the food science and technology. See, this is the emerging field, the food science and technology, and you have a lot of career opportunities in India as well as in abroad. To my knowledge, because when I used to exchange the views with the Japanese professor in the Gifu University, through them I came to know that few Japanese companies are already planning to start up their venture in India. So before that, because the Japanese companies, before they start any kind of venture in another country, they do a lot of homework. So by doing some exchange internship program, our students have contributed in some exchange program with the Japanese companies also.
Maybe if I'm allowed to say very few words, especially maybe students, bright students of IITs who have mastered the very high knowledge and skills of technology or whatever.
Yeah, 1819 he visited Japan. So maybe I request Professor Perumal to share his views about his experience in Japan.
Felt it that I'm, what you call it, like, you feel language barrier, because you can see every location is well documented. You want to get bus, nothing to worry. It will be both English and Japanese. You get down airport, leaving up to the destination, there are no problems. Particularly, I would like to say, because the punctuality is the point. We start meeting, my boss says 7:02 we will meet in the railway station. 7:04 the train starts, and 8:14 we reach the Tokyo, and 8:25 the meeting starts, and then 9:20 first meeting over. We go for breakfast, at 10:10 we will come back. All program starts when we come back. We say 12:14 we are back to office. 12:15 we go for lunch again. This is how it starts. And the train, when they say 7:02, 7:159, it's just on the station. I'm sorry, it is impossible to keep such a practical life I would say it's a machinery, but then at the same time, that is what makes you what you believe. And you have to believe, if you want to experience such life, even the bus, it starts at 30 seconds before the bus has to arrive. And what happened, I can give one experience. When I was traveling from Sukuba, my life was mostly in Sukuba. Even I have now also going on. So 2003 onwards, it's almost 18 years I go back and forth for various things. So for 16 years I have long relationship. At one time there was a sudden traffic, as a result there was a delay for 3 minutes to reach office for the people, and the same day evening the whole train company apologized to the whole public that our train delayed for 3 minutes, causing a big damage to the public relationship. Now you think about what we are. What we are today, I'm sorry, I don't want to quote it how we are. I'm not criticizing, that is what Professor Uppaluri exactly said. We are adaptable. I'm sorry, in that situation, we can adapt anything irrespective of language barrier. And now, you have a lot of, earlier, it was difficult. When I was first time traveling in 2003, there were no media or nothing much of exposure. But now, you just take a Google, just take a photo of the Japanese version, you have English to say whether it is a vegetarian, non-vegetarian. But of course, what you feel is different because the language, like when we can go to Europe, US is definitely different because it's an English version. You can learn at least certain things. We say now few words very frequently, but now you have a Google supported system, so don't hesitate in traveling. If you get a chance once in your lifestyle.
We have one dignitary among us, Mr. Abhishek Chaudhary. So I would like to request Mr. Abhishek Chaudhary to kindly express his views about these career opportunities in Japan.
Now the time has come that we start thinking the other way around. Why we need that every time, yes, some Japanese company will hire us and we will go there or do some work for them here, all those thoughts. Let's start thinking, why can't we create our own enterprises, go to Japan and do business there? That's also a career opportunity. Entrepreneurship itself is a career opportunity. There are a lot of unicorns here in India these days who have got huge amount of fundings from Japanese venture capitals. They have started their arms in Japan. You can start identifying a problem. There are a lot of social problems exist in Japan. It's not that Japan is not having any kind of problem and all problems lies with India. So if you want to create a career in Japan, start thinking if you can identify one very good niche career problem and you start exploring that, find a solution for that, get to a Japanese venture arm, get the funding, start your company in Japan. Nobody said that you have to first start your company in India. You can definitely do that, but you can do the other way around also. You start your company in Japan, build it, then probably go to other countries also. So when you are thinking about the career opportunities, keep it in mind. Then some of you might also think about entrepreneurship as a career opportunity and take it to the next level. Thank you.
So now I request Mr. Raju Gupta to share his views about this today's panel discussion event.
Japan is one of the most fastest aging society in the world. And with that, there is huge amount of scope in terms of careers. Of course, there is scope for study, undergraduation, post-graduation, etc. But also from a point of careers, there is a huge scope. And as Mr. Chaudhary mentioned about entrepreneurship, yes, SoftBank, it has funded lot of the Indian unicorns today. So therefore, looking at that, what we are doing, so I'm talking from a local flavor. We talked about language learning, we talked about careers, we talked about scholarships. So we have Japan Center of Excellence here based as a startup based out of Guwahati right away. We do Japanese language training. For your information, you have a very senior professor here at IIT, Professor Iyer from, I think, chemistry department. Both his daughters study Japanese with us. They've been doing it for the the elder one has been doing it for the last 2 years. She just applied fully solid for her next scholarship. and I'm quite sure with her credentials, she'll get through that scholarship and hopefully go to do her undergraduation in Japan. And she's done the language now, already completed 2 levels, so she'll be completing the 3rd level before she departs for Japan, hopefully. So we offer language, we offer it as an online program. Hopefully we'll do something with IIT, but if all of you can get together and we can have a batch of anything around 20 children, we do it online on Saturdays and Sundays, 3 hours on Saturdays, 3 hours on Sundays.
So I would like to look forward for this felicitation after this closing remark.
I want to share 2 recent developments regarding the student exchange program between 2 Japanese universities and IIT Guwahati. The first is that our 5 JMD FST students got JASO fellowship of 80,000 yen per month for 5 months. They are about to go to Japan maybe by the end of this month or first of this June, and they are expected to come back by 17th of October. Okay. And the second thing regarding that next, in 2 days back, 18th May actually, one joint proposal has been submitted by Professor Koyama between IIT Guwahati and Gifu University and Nagoya University. So if this proposal is accepted, then we'll be exploring 3 thrust areas like food engineering, then energy science and disaster management. Their certification courses actually are designed to ranging from 15 days to 3 months. So there the faculty members from IIT Guwahati and Gifu University and Nagoya University will be participating, and there will be the exchange of the program among these 3 institutes. Okay, so there so many benefits will be this one acquired by our students, Japanese students, as well as these faculties from IIT Guwahati, as well as these faculties from Gifu University and Nagoya University. Okay, so we thank all the session volunteers and logistic volunteers for your valuable support. If you have any comments and suggestions, please write to us. With this, we come to the end of this panel discussion and hoping to enhance Indo-Japan cooperation in education and research. Thank you. Have a nice day. Jai Hind. Sayonara.
First of all, I would like to request Mr. Ryuhei Nishi, First Secretary, Science and Technology, Embassy of Japan, to please accept a bouquet in a moment.